Hi, welcome to my channel. Welcome to 2024. That is weird. I'm sure this is not the first time you've seen a video talking about it though. So I have 4 things I would like to do in this video. I know, very organized of me. I don't typically plan any of my videos, so this is kind of a lot for me. But first 2 things I would like to do are going to be in relation to 2023. I am going to pull up my video of the goals that I set for myself for 2023 and talk about if I was successful or not, as well as share some of the stats for 2023 reading, because I didn't post a lot here, but I did do a lot of reading. So we're gonna dive right into those 2 things in a moment, but the other 2 things at the second half of the video are going to be in relation to 2024. So you can see some things are happening. I don't know if you can see up here, but some things are on my shelf that I've not talked about because you haven't seen my shelves in a few weeks, I think. So we're gonna talk about 2023 first and then talk about 2024 since we're already in it. Let me pull up my 2023 video and we will react, see how different I look. Hair's growing in, so I'm sure my hair was pretty intense back then. Hey there, welcome back to my channel again. My name is Angel, and really quickly I wanted to kind of put it out there what my 2023 goals for the channel are, slash for my reading for the year, because my hair is so pink. My hair is so pink. That has nothing to do with the reading, but I just thought I should mention it. It's definitely different than what I've tried to do in the past. As of today, I've been doing a good job about keeping up with this. So if you haven't watched it already, I hauled a lot of books in the last 2 or 3 months of 2022, and it really just kept piling it on in my head that I really need to start reading the books that I physically own. My biggest goal for 2023 is that I want to read my physical TBR. Point blank, that's it. I want to read the 169-ish books that I own on my physical TBR. Some of them have been there for several years. Some of them have been on my... So we can do that goal first because I did keep a tracker. So at the beginning of January 2023, I actually did have an update. I think it ended up being 176 books were unread on my TBR, including both physical and ebooks and any audiobooks I had purchased, but not free ones that I got from Libro FM or something. So that was 176 books, and that was kind of my reading goal, was just to finish them, which is possible. And I knew there would be a lot of DNFs and things like that. So at the end of 2023, I had 23 books left from that list. I think in the next part of the video that I am reacting to, I do say that if I don't read them in that year that I would unhaul them, but that's not the case. My thought was I just hate the clutter, which there's already a lot of clutter, you'll see. But I just wanted to get through them. I mostly finished that. I'm going to consider it a win because I really got through them. I didn't read all of them. If I look at my yearly charts, in 2023, I read 39 books from that old TBR, which means that the majority of those books I actually unhauled or sold or DNF'd and did those things. I did also do that to some ebooks where I had an option on my spreadsheet for a digital unhaul, which means if I really want to, I can go back to it, but I marked it as read on my Kindle, and it's not going to show up when I search for a new book that I haven't read. So that's something to be said. Bouncing off of that, my next goal is to purchase less than 50 books this year. I can tell you right now, I did not get that goal. In 2023, I purchased 173 books. And I also was gifted 12 books. However, I did sell 181 books last year. Either traded them in or sold them on Pango. I still failed that goal. I think the next big goal of mine is just to continue to read books that I want to read. I have been really good about this the last few years. Wait. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think this stemmed from a place of really feeling like I had to read books. I know, for instance, when we had the Spooky Bitches book club a few years ago, some of those books I just picked because it was for the book club and I may not have read them otherwise. I think I was successful here because I really leaned in heavily to trying to read some of the books that I've been putting off and successfully enjoying them, but I think this one's kind of an easy win, honestly. I do have a lot of leeway to
read the same amount of pages that I read last year by doing this, but also it gives me a lot of freedom if I really want to read new releases or books that are not on my physical TBR.
Again, that's kind of an easy win. I'll pick through after filming this and create a beautiful image here. But I think I was pretty successful of also reading new releases and books I haven't read before.
Those are my goals for the year. Channel wise, I do want to try to continue to post more than just my wrap-ups on here, because I do enjoy making content. It's just really hard when other platforms such as like TikTok and Instagram sometimes do a lot better than this. Anyways, thank you so much for watching.
Well, I didn't realize that one was another goal that I had. Again, I will go through, and I'm pretty sure I was successful in posting things that were not just wrap-ups and TBRs and stuff like that. But overall, I think I was relatively successful. The biggest goal that I did have for myself, and it just prevailed the entire year, I could not forget about it, was eliminating my physical TBR and also a little bit my ebooks, because they're the glaring thing. Like, this bookshelf is the opposite of where my couch is, so I see it constantly, and it was somewhat successful. I think right now I have most of my, any old TBR stuff would be up here. These are not old, all old. Some of these are newer books I just didn't feel like wrapping up, which again, we'll talk about later. I think I did a pretty good job about just staring at the books and like deciding like, are we gonna try to read this or not? That is kind of the goals section wrapped up. I do want to talk about some of my reading stats. So in 2023, I read 166 books. Nope. 193 books. Nope. 192 books. Jesus Christ. I read 39,986 pages. I listened to 74 hours, almost 74 and a half hours of audiobooks, and I reread 2 books. My most successful reading month was in June. I think that was the month that I read Battle Royale. Starting in May into June, I did read Battle Royale, which is 15 manga, and so I read those like back to back to back to back to back, and that was quite a lot of books. What kind of books were they? I read 7 audiobooks, 43 ebooks, 139 physical books, and 3 books were a combination of like an audiobook and a physical book. I will say the physical always gets a little skewed, because if I read a single issue comic, I do include it as a book. The next kind of category, which is the format, is kind of the same as the source, but it breaks it down a little bit more clearly. So I read 1 anthology, 39 graphic novels, 53 manga, 60 novels, so like a standard book, 11 short stories and novellas, 20 single issue comics, and 4 short story collections. I only have the stat here for my like main genres, so there are subgenres. I'm not going to dive into that, but I read 1 anthology, 15 contemporary fiction, 30 fantasy, which is outstanding. I feel like 30 fantasy is stupid to me. It probably includes a lot of the like paranormal or fantasy type romance stuff. 37 horror, which is not my top one this year, which is surprising. 19 mystery / thrillers, 1 other, 12 paranormal books, 1 poetry book, 41 romances, which was the prevailing highest thing read this year, 26 science fiction books, and 9 dark romance books, which I did separate out because I got into a really big dark romance kick this year. Publication year, the vast majority were from 2021, 2022, and 2023. So clearly a lot of things happening there. And then the very last rating here is very telling. I don't give books 1 star. It takes a lot for me to even give them a 2 star, because if I don't enjoy it, I just DNF it. So I have 4 2-star reads, 68 3-star reads, 75 4-star reads, and 40 5-star reads. There were also 5 books that I did not rate, either because there was like preferential treatment I might give to it, or I read it and basically skimmed it, but I still felt like I wasted enough time that I deserved to count it as a book read. That happened with some manga, that happened with that kind of stuff. Wouldn't be a video without me having to change my battery. Anyways, I think that kind of does it for the stats I wanted to share with you. I am excited now that it's 2024, so let's talk about my 2024 reading goals, explain what the hell is going on with my shelves. At this point in 2024, I have not finished a book yet, which is a little disconcerting. I think, yeah, my Goodreads challenge is only for 100 books, only so that I don't feel as pressured to get through a certain amount of things. But that is goal number 1, read 100 books. Very simple, easily obtainable for me. Attainable, obtainable, attainable. You decide. I think that this is pretty standard and low actually for my previous years on Goodreads. So goal number 2 is to not worry as much about not reading my older books if we look briefly to the shelves. Right now, these books that are wrapped up, and you can't even see all of them, they are books that I purchased in 2023 and did not read. So some of them I didn't read on purpose because I wouldn't let myself read them at the end of the year. And then some of them are just books that maybe I didn't get to, which happens. I own a lot of books at this point. I'll actually put that number on the screen. This is all of the books, including some books that I bought this year. So goal number 2 is to just continue to read and not stress about hitting a goal of what I read. What? You know what I mean? I don't want to feel pressured to be like, you have to read these or they get unhauled. That's it. Number 3 is to, this one is kind of completely in negation of rule number 2, goal number 2. I'm going to read the remaining books that were on my old TBR, so books that were bought before 2023, and I can be pretty strict on myself with these. I'm not going to hold them aside anymore. I think that they just need to get done in some capacity in January. And I just need to make that a priority for myself, because I think at this point, they're all pretty old-ish. And the longer I sit on them, the less likely I'll ever read them. The second thing involves this beautiful advent calendar that my boyfriend Jose commissioned to be made for me. Commissioned as in he purchased this beautiful advent calendar and then had one of his coworkers paint it to look like the floor from The Shining. It's beautiful. The Overlook Hotel's floor. You might not be able to sell because it's painted really well, but each of these is a little drawer and they have things in them. So with that in mind, I'm gonna put this down because it's actually quite freaking heavy, and I will talk to you about what's going on in here. At some point in 2023, at the end of the year, I purchased this big roll of these like tickets, like what you get when you are at a carnival or maybe you're part of a raffle. And I was like, they're just so cute. They're orange. I feel like they fit a little bit of my aesthetic. So my goal at first was to wrap my entire TBR. And then I realized in order to understand what the hell I own, I needed to make a spreadsheet that said what number matched, which kind of negated the fact that I numbered them all to be anonymous. So I did put numbers on all of these books. I don't know what these are. They're in a spreadsheet if I really want to read a book early. And I do have a list on Goodreads of all my owned books. And then I was like, I had all these other books. All these other books are either old TBR from before 2023 or new books that I purchased either at the end of 2023 or received as gifts, or books that I purchased just this week in 2024. These ones are in here and the numbers match what is on the ticket. And then for the newer books, I actually just wrote the name of the book on there. So if it has the name of the book written on the ticket, it is a book that is not wrapped and I can just search it out. This goal is that I am, for the majority of the year, let's say 75% of the year, I am going to pick my next read from that advent calendar. So I don't necessarily need to know how many books I'm going to read in a month. I'm not going to put that kind of number on things, but whenever I finish a book or I'm feeling like a little weird about it, maybe I'm going to DNF it, or I just need like a second book to be reading at the same time, I will pick a book from there. And I've already started this, so this isn't relevant to my goals or anything, but I have 2 books that I'm currently reading. The first pick was this one. This is a Mexican short story collection, 3 Messages in the Morning, and I have my little ticket here. And then because this was going very slow for me, I am not great at short story collections or anthologies, I picked In the Weeds, which is the one I just showed you. So 2 books going right now, and they've both been from there. I say 75% because I have a feeling that if there's a readathon that I want to participate in, or I'm just like really craving a specific book, I'm just gonna look at my list and figure out which number it is and just pluck that little bitch out of there. That's complicated, but I know what the hell I mean. For a next goal, I am going to just, in general, stress less about, am I active on my channel? Am I participating in things? Whatever. Because I don't remain active on the channel and I don't participate in things as much as I'd like to. And then I just beat myself up about them. It stresses me out, but I'm not going to bring that energy into 2024 for new videos. So that's that. Less stress. And then I think the last goal is, when I do post content, I want it to be content I'm excited about filming and sharing with you guys. So yeah, wrap-ups, tags, TBRs, those still might be a thing. However, I want to do more, I guess, adventurous stuff. I'll put on the screen some of the videos that I really enjoyed doing and I felt like I was like actively sharing it with you and we were having fun together. What else did we have? I think that was kind of a mix of both of the things I wanted to talk about. This is a lot of info compacted into one video. I'm surprised I was able to say it all so quickly, considering I've been thinking about this for weeks, but that's all I have. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you're looking forward to your own 2024 reading goals and maybe if you're doing content, channel goals, and let me know what you think in the comments down below and I will see you next time. Bye.